Hi, welcome to the Diablo podcast. We are online at diablopodcast.com, and this is a service of IncGamers.com, which we like to call the
unofficial Diablo site.
Excellently done. That is my co-host Elly, and I am Flux. And this is our quick week's news in review sort of podcast. And conveniently enough, last week, the day after we recorded this, we talked on the podcast somewhat about the demo of Diablo III that was going to be at Gamescom this year, later on next month in August, and didn't know if it was going to be a new demo or an old demo. And of course, the day after we recorded the podcast, they told us that it was almost certainly going to be last year's demo. And that was no real surprise to us, though.
No, well, I think I was a bit surprised because I thought, well, why would they roll out an old demo when they've obviously got another one that's ready for the public? Because they're doing it at this press event, so I thought they would naturally put that one out as well. So I was a bit surprised to find out it's the old game.
Yeah, we talked about that. We being myself and Nineball and the Eliminator are a couple of our other usual podcast guests. Say that 3 times fast. 3 times fast. And on episode 20, actually, we posted it on Monday of just 4 days ago. And those guys pointed out that it takes a long time to get a podcast. It takes a long time for Blizzard to get a podcast ready. It takes a long time for Blizzard to get a game demo ready for a show. They've really got to iron out the bugs. They've got to make a special version of the game that you can jump right in and play with pre-made characters, that you can have a lot of fun in just 15 or 20 minutes. And as we know, Blizzard is deep in crunch mode on getting Diablo III finished and the beta started at this point. So probably it's for the best if they don't all take a couple of weeks off of, the overall game design to get a demo ready for a game show in Germany that most of us aren't going to be attending. But then, in theory, by late October, by BlizzCon, they will have had time to get everything ready and balanced and have a really cool new game demo. Or so we'll hope. We'll find out anyway.
Well, there you go. Yeah, that's that. I'm still disappointed that we're not getting the updated one from the end of July out there.
You're not going to Gamescom anyway.
I'm not going, but people I know are going.
Would they have played it?
Yes, yeah.
But the people you know didn't go to BlizzCon last year, so it'll still be new to them.
Yeah, but that's not the point, is it? Really? It isn't.
Okay, well, they would know it was new even if it wasn't new to them.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving right along, we had some big news at the end of last week when Bashiok made one of his helicopter drop information tidbits in the Battle.net forums and said out of the blue that they're not spammable skills. They're really powerful, awesome things that you use once in a while to huge effect, and there are plenty of other skills which are spammable or have much shorter cooldowns, and you can use all you like. And a lot of fans seem to like that, and some fans seem to not like that. And you played some World of Warcraft, Elly, with long cooldowns, and you've played games with no cooldowns, like Diablo II, had none or very few. You have any thoughts on this one?
Well, I'm playing Rift at the moment, and a lot of my high-level skills there have 2-minute cooldowns. But they're powerful skills. One of the ones that makes me disappear and immune and removes snares and roots. That's, you wouldn't expect to have that spammable. Another one, carpet bombing, resets the cooldowns on all my bombs. So I never thought, well, that's ridiculous. I need to be able to use this far more often. So the 2 minutes isn't really convenient. And I don't think it will be with the high level skills in Diablo 3, because 3 of them, the ones that we know, are actually companion skills, aren't they?
One of them is the Call of the Ancients, which summons
I meant with the other characters, like the Witch Doctor and the Wizard do. I don't know what the Dungeon Keeper. Bloody hell! You have to excuse him.
The Demon Hunger.
Yeah, it's.
As I call her, the Demon Hunger. Oh wait, Demon Hunter.
Yeah, I'm half baked at the moment because it's. What time is it here? I don't know. 3 o'clock.
Early afternoon. You're good to go.
No, in the morning.
Bashiok did not mention the cooldown times for any other barbarian skills or any other class skills. So it's sort of this information out of context, I think, is what's spurring some of the debate, because we don't, this is the tier 7 skills, which are available at level 26, and the tier 6 skills are available at level 20, and maybe those all have 90-second cooldowns, and the tier 5 skills, most of them have 60-second cooldowns. Another point that Bashiak made in a post earlier this week, Bashiak being the Diablo III community manager, for those of you who don't follow this stuff as obsessively as the rest of us, and good for you. What's it like having a real life? But Bashiak, back in April, made a fairly infamous comment, said that all the game systems for Diablo III will be revealed before the beta test begins, which obviously gave fans two things to hope for. More game system reveals because we like to see the new information, and of course we want those revealed so we can get the beta test started, and therefore the game can be closer to being released. And so every time they mention a new game system is being revealed, fans are like, oh please, let this be the last game system so the beta can start. And a lot of people were assuming that this big press event later in July, which is all going to be revealed on August 1st, and is going to mainly cover the BattleNet aspects of Diablo III, people were hoping that would be the final big game reveal system, and then maybe shortly thereafter the beta test would begin. We actually, I think, subscribed to that notion on our previous podcast, did we not, Elly?
Yes, probably.
At least aspirationally, if not realistically.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the one when you said the beta would be out November 11th? Was that? I must be misremembering that.
I think I must have had too much coffee because I had a punt and said the game had come out on the 11th of the 11th.
Well, it could still happen.
Having said a couple months before...
You meant this year, right?
Yeah, I did. But
okay.
A few months earlier, I'd said, oh no, it's not going to come out till 2012.
You were caught up in a moment of irrational exuberance.
Yeah.
How many coffees was that?
It was just 2, but it was caffeinated and it was late.
Oh, there you go. So anyway, somebody asked Bashiak about the final skill reveals this week, and the fan said, I think a lot of us have the assumption that the reveal on August 1st will be the final system reveal before the beta. And Bashiak gave one of his amazingly Confucius-esque, he's very able to be cryptic, perhaps by accident, but this is an exact quote of his reply. He said, I think this will likely turn out to not be entirely true, which, by my reading, is 3 qualifying maybes in the same sentence. He's got, I think, likely, and not entirely in about 10 words, which may be some kind of record for don't quote me on this sort of thing.
Yeah.
So the question of the week, of course, Elly, is does Bashiak do this on purpose, or is he just tricky? Is it just his nature?
I think he's a very good public relations person, and he's just extremely efficient at body swerving. He makes it sound like he's saying stuff, but when you actually try and think, now what did I just learn there? You actually nothing. It's genius. And before you know it, he's gone. There's no time to ask him a follow-up question because he's gone.
It's like your highest level skill on Rift.
Yeah, he's amazing.
He removes all debuffs and hides you all at once. Let me quote that again. I think this will likely turn out to not be entirely true.
It's genius.
Anything could happen, and he would say, that's what I said.
Yeah, it's genius.
Anything.
Think about it.
He could be predicting the second extinction event of the dinosaurs in that quote, and we couldn't disprove it. So apparently, judging from that, you can take pretty much any interpretation you like from those words, but I think that means we're probably going to get additional system reveals after August 1st, which may or may not be related to the first ones on August 1st. Maybe there's like higher level BattleNet stuff they're not going to tell us about yet, that kind of thing. I don't know. It can mean anything, as we're laughing about.
Yeah.
A little more definitely, the next day, a fan asked about respecs, which is the system where you can reallocate your skill points and your trait points in Diablo III, which Blizzard has always said there will be a system for that, but they've given us no details. And on that one, Bashiak said, we are going to be ready to share a bit more info on this real soon, which, again, real soon.
Yeah.
We often write real soon with a little TM, a little trademark sign after it when referring to anything Blizzard says, because that means between tomorrow and the end of time.
It has to be within the next 4 weeks, doesn't it? Real soon, in anyone's definition, has to be within the next month, surely.
I'm hesitant to commit to anything involving the earthly calendar and Blizzard. But I do think, yes, my impression of that was that it would be before or at this event later in July.
Before Christmas, I think we'll agree. Before Christmas, at least. Yeah.
Yeah? Yes, it'll come with mistletoe. Give us a kiss.
Oh God, please no! You promised you wouldn't do. You're Dick Van Dyke.
In the English accent. Another just today, Bashiok, more or less. Well, it was via their Diablo Twitter account. Said that there will almost certainly be a Diablo III Armory, much like the World of Warcraft Armory, where you will be able to look in your browser or your smartphone and see what your character is wearing, all of their equipment, and probably their skills and stuff as well, and get to browse those of other characters. And on this point, Elly, do you enjoy being nosy and looking at other people's stuff more than you dislike them being able to look at your stuff?
Yeah, I like browsing through other people's kit. If I've run into people, have a quick look up on the Armory and see what they're wearing. But I can understand why some people don't really like it, especially, PvP. But unless in D3, unless they have like a vanity wardrobe feature like they have in Rift, you'll know to a certain degree what your opponent's wearing anyway by looking at them.
What does the vanity feature in Rift do?
Well, whatever you wear, you can have a couple of outfits that allow you to wear whatever you want, but it's just a visual thing. Yeah?
Okay.
Do you get me?
No, but I'll go right ahead.
Well, say you've got your outfit on, right? You've got your gear on, but you don't particularly like the look of it. So you make up another outfit, and that's the one that displays. But it might not necessarily. None of the stats apply. It's just what you look like. It's
just an outerwear.
Yeah, it's just so you can go and get outfits, silly outfits as well, or just cool equipment that looks good, but you just can't wear because you've got better equipment that you really should be wearing, which is what I found with my stuff. My lower level gear, I preferred the look of. So I'm able to keep that as an outfit, and it displays, but really what I've got on is much better equipment.
Yeah, I don't think that's you're not suggesting that we'll see that in Diablo 3. I mean, they've never said anything about that. So
no, we won't. I'm not saying that we will, but I'm saying that if you have an Armory for D3 and PvP players are worried about people being able to see what kit they've got on, you'll be able to see. You'll know that from looking at them to a certain degree, because you'll know what You'll get to know the look of certain items, won't you, as you do?
Yeah, it'll also depend on if you can see the skills when you're looking at that. Bashiok's the tweet today said that it'll be an in-game feature as well as a browser feature, apparently. So it's not just, people in some games have thought, well, you can use whatever you want in the game, and before you log off, you put on some junk equipment. Yeah. And that way nobody can scout you out. But apparently it'll be an in-game feature as well, so they'll see what you have on as you're using it.
I'm sure there's going to be secrecy things that you can block off things to people. Couldn't you? You could say, well, you can see what the gear I've got on because you can tell that by looking at me anyway, so I'll let you see that on the web. However, I'm going to hide my skills.
We'll see. I mean, obviously you'll see what someone's skills are when they're using them. So,
but then it's too late. Then it's too late. Then they're dead.
I think traits would be more of a thing, though, because you can't see traits at all. Those are passives. So you wouldn't know if someone's got, plus 200% damage to their fire spells or something like that until, of course, you're sizzling like a marshmallow.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be a lot of fun to browse that sort of thing, just to be nosy. Yeah. Because it's not that big a deal in games like World of Warcraft, because almost all the equipment is sort of pre-designed stats, and you kind of know what a level 85 or a high-level character of any type is wearing anyway, because they'll be wearing whatever the best items for their type is, the pre-made items. But, of course, the Diablo 3 has this whole item slot machine concept, and there's tons of rare items which are entirely random modifiers, and all these crafted items which have a couple of preset mods, but are also several random mods as well. And it'll just be really fun just to be nosy and look at the characters who are, look if there's a ladder of some sort, whatever the highest ranked characters are. Yeah. Oh, let's see what he's got on. And oh my God, look at that ring he's got. Oh, that is amazing. That kind of thing.
Would you hide yours?
I don't know. I don't know if it'll be an option. I don't know if they'll allow us to opt out. But, you're torn. I mean, you kind of want to brag or show off if you find something cool. But if you're if you're like, oh, my armor is crap, I've got to find better armor. You don't want people, in a game, hey, you still wearing that armor? Ha 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 ha. And they're laughing at your equipment, It's like, go to hell.
Yeah.
They say, oh, well, great, then you'll be happy to give me the next good armor drop you find, since mine's so crappy. Put up or shut up. And one other thing we had this week, that's kind of it for the news. Of course, if last week follows suit, as soon as we record the podcast, Bashak will post like 3 more interesting tidbits we could have included. I think he just waits till we're done recording and then snaps up some more news. I'm not paranoid or anything, though.
No, not.
We had one. But they're still out to get me. We had one interesting question via our Facebook page, which you can see at Diablo. God, what is it called?
Diablo IncGamers.
Diablo IncGamers on Facebook.com. And it was a reader whose name I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of, and then Ellie will take a turn butchering the pronunciation of it. I'll just call him Nathan C. His last name is Crowder-Zors.
Come on, Nathan Crowder-Zors.
Sorry, Nathan. This has been your whole life, I'm sure, though. Anyway, I have 2 first names, so at least when someone asks you, Nathan, what's your last name? They don't say, is that your last name?
Yeah.
Whereas I've gotten that a million times in my life. So there are some benefits to being an unpronounceable name from Mars. But his question was, how will these long 120-second cooldowns affect PvP? Which is a pretty good question. I know Bashiok didn't say anything about that in his forum post. And there's been some discussion on it.
You're a big PvPer, aren't you? You're a big PvPer in Diablo 2. And you will be in 3.
Yeah, actually, I wasn't that much in 2, but I'm looking forward to it in 3. The arena system is really, really fun. That was the most enjoyment I had last year at BlizzCon, was playing in the arena games, even though I lost mostly. But it was fun just to try it. But that's a subject for another podcast. They have said, they being the Blizzard developers of Diablo 3, have said that they can keep the systems for the arena and for the PvE games entirely separate if they like. One of the big drawbacks for some people in the World of Warcraft PvP is that the skills are across the board in PvP and in regular gameplay. So when they wanted to change things to make PvP more balanced and to nerf some skills and to improve others, that had big effects on the regular gaming world as well. And people who didn't play PvP were a little unhappy to see their skills changing for a system they didn't even use. That is not going to happen in Diablo 3. The systems are entirely separate. And though the designers hope to keep them similar or identical, they can make changes. So they could very easily give these 120-second cooldown skills, a 30 seconds cooldown just for PvP, which would certainly be one way to balance it. I think the 120-second version of it, playing the duels at BlizzCon, I'm quite sure I never had a single match go more than a minute or maybe a minute and a half max. So it might as well be, use this skill once per match if it's 100 or 90 or 120 seconds. And you'll just have to wait for one time when it's really crucial and really important and use it. Or else it might just turn out that PvP players don't want to use those skills. They want to respec, which is a system we will find out about very soon, apparently. And they'll just want to respec and use entirely different skills. And it's really, we're just speculating at this point, completely based on almost no knowledge at all. Which never stopped me before.
No.
I hear you shuffling papers.
No, I'm just sorry. Yeah, I was looking at my Rift notes because you have different trees for that, for your spec, for your PvP.
They have a dual spec thing in Rift?
Yeah, you can have a soul that's just used in PvP for each of the different callings, the classes.
Yeah, that has been ruled out of Diablo 3. They said they're not going to allow dual specking. So what will probably happen for people who really want to PvP is they will just get to level 60 or whatever level they're going to fight at, and then they'll just respec to whatever their PvP stats are going to be. And then that character would not be especially effective or optimized for PvE anymore. And they would have to use other characters to do item hunting and such. But with, we don't know how easy respecs will be to do, so I guess we'll find out pretty soon just how big of a change that will require.
I think they should be very easy. That's my vote. Don't you think?
I think they'll be pretty easy to use, but the other thing is you'll probably want to switch around most of your equipment to go from PVM to PvP. and you'd probably want to switch around which skill runes you were using in some ways. I think it'd just be a lot more. You couldn't just spend 2 minutes respecking and say, okay, now I'm ready to go go do boss runs for 6 hours. Even with the shared stash, you'd probably want to switch a lot of your equipment around. You want to put on magic find gear. You'd want, we don't know what you'll need for PvP. Probably a lot more resistances, probably a lot more damage, modification stuff.
Yeah.
And stuff that you wouldn't need against monsters. Characters who PvP'd in Diablo II would get like 300% lightning resistance or something. Just so if somebody had, 2 or 3 skills that reduce their lightning resistance and a big lightning spell, they could still survive it. And you would customize your gear a lot if you were going to, obviously you wouldn't need that lightning resistance if you were fighting a necromancer or a barbarian, but if you were going to fight an Amazon or a sorceress, you would. So people will probably be specializing to some degree, and depending on who they're going to be fighting or what kind of battle they're going to be doing, etc. So I think it'll be more than just respecs anyway.
Oh, well, it doesn't affect me anyway because I don't PvP in Diablo 2.
You might get sucked in. I didn't PvP in D2 at all, but I really enjoyed the arena at BlizzCon. Just having a whole game mode just for dueling, especially with the pre-made characters they had. It was just such fun to jump in, and you just got 10 minutes of just head bashing, bloodshed, and then you're done.
It might be nice once, but my PvPs, I just stick to shooters, really. I tried it in WoW, and I didn't really like it. Didn't really do anything for me. I
don't think it's the D3 version is really like an arcade game, like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter or something like that. You're just dropped in this box, and you're only there to PvP. The whole purpose of the game is the arena. It's a small venue, and the fights last 30, 40, 50 seconds, and then you have 10 rounds in a row or something. So even when you die, it's like you don't mind because you're going to be respawning in 20 seconds anyway and get to try again.
Yeah, I'll give it a bash. I'll give it a bash because it did look good, the videos of it.
And it'll be, but we don't know. To restate my non-answer to Nathan C's question. What was the last name again, Ellie? Nathan C? Never mind.
Crowderzors.
Yeah, good enough. I'm sure he'll post an angry comment. How dare you mispronounce my last name? My uncle was a general in World War II or something, and perhaps he was. Good job on that. Unless of course you were a Nazi, in which case not so good.
Dear.
Oh dear. Maybe we may have gone a little long here. I'm starting to get a little free form on my random associations. But we don't know anything about if there will be a different system of PvP. Quit laughing, Ellie. We do not know if there will be a different system for the PvP, for the skills and the cooldowns, and maybe that'll be you just get to use this skill once per round, which could actually be kind of cool if you think about it. I mean, your opponent would probably know, like after the first round or two, this guy's got level 15 Earthquake on his Barbarian, and it can take off half my hit points in one click, and he can only use it once.
Yeah.
That would really become a strategic thing, if it's got a 10-yard radius or something, and this guy knows that it's at one time in this round, you can basically, take off a third of his hit points in 1 second, no matter what he's doing. That would really make him a little, keep him on his toes, basically.
Yeah, and once it's done, that he knows that you've used your dueling crown, and that's it. And it hasn't worked, so the fight's on type of thing. And
you'd hate to die not having used it, or maybe you want to use it right off the start to just take, throw them off their balance and take a huge damage chunk. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that could actually be quite a bit of fun instead of just, every other skill, you're going to see it every second the entire battle. It could be fun to have ones that you're only going to see once or twice or 3 times the whole round.
It's just a question. When do you use it? Do you use it before they do? Do you hold out the longest? Do you get it in quick? Or what? So, yeah, it could be.
It'll be fun to see. A pity you're not going to play any PvP, so you won't know about any of this. But I can tell you. I might
PvP you.
Oh, you've come around now.
Yeah, there you go. It's fighting talk.
Our strategic discussion has brought you into the fold. Okay. I think that was all the topics we had. We're trying to keep these short and sweet.
Yes, it's just about the news.
We're at 30 minutes, so that's all the news for this week. Oh, yeah, we had some big site changes this week. Ellie was going to talk about those at the end here.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that everything's ported over. We've got a new system in place. Rush is still tweaking lots of things, trying to put things back in place that people are used to seeing. The gallery is offline, and that's because it's so huge. So it's taking time to get that working, but all the images, all the fan art and everything, it's all safe. It hasn't been deleted. And DiabloPodcast.com is now back up and running. So just look out for Rush's news post and he'll update on anything there and ask him questions if things aren't working for you.
There are new features enabled in the new system, some of which aren't working yet, but the fact of the day did return. So every single day, every 24 hours, I believe it cycles through a new one, which means I need to go write some more damn facts of the days once we get off this podcast. But yes, at the top of the page on DiabloIncGamers.com, there's a new fact of the day every day, which is a little tidbit of information about Diablo III. And think how much you'll learn.
Everyone's a gem.
In conclusion, moo. Moo.